Brennan Marion claims that his 2026 offensive line is better than the offensive line when he was the wide receiver coach at Texas. Let's talk about what exactly he said and what we can glean from Marion saying that this offensive line is pretty damn good following what was a regrettable season for the Colorado Buffaloes and one in this season where they're trying to get back to what they were doing in 2024. All that's coming up after the bumper. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, consider joining the more than 213,000 subscribers to Adapt and Respond to College Football Podcast. You can also catch us on Apple and Spotify. Today, I want to talk about Brennan Marion in Colorado and what he had to say about this offensive line. Going into a season where I have pinpointed, like many, but I'm going to make it more of an emphasis than I think some others are prepared to do. They got to be able to run the football at Colorado in 2026. So much so that I need to know that this offensive line can be physical. I need to know that these running backs can do some of that running back stuff once you get to the second level. I also realize that there is a Colorado fan that continues to apologize for the running back situation, such as it is at Colorado, thinking guys like Michael Welch be getting it done. Thinking guys that were there previously could be getting it done. No. First rule of being a running back is you're going to get to the second level. We're going to block you to the second level. After that, you got to do some of that running back stuff, which is making linebackers and safeties miss and then going to the house. That's what you do, right? And if you are a good running back, you should make a person miss 100% of the time. That's why you have the ball in your hands. If you're a great running back, you will make two men miss 100% of the time. And if you are an otherworldly running back, you will make three men miss 100% of the time, which is how I want to enter into this conversation around what Brennan Marion had to say about his offensive line at Texas versus the offensive line that he has now. Now, we should also note here, Brennan Marion was the wide receivers coach at Texas and the wide receivers coach at Pittsburgh before he was the offense coordinator at UNLV, where they went on a really great run running his go-go offense, an offense that he developed at William and Mary, where you have misdirection, two running backs in the backfield all the time. Yes, you will use tight ends, but not as much as you think. And generally speaking, it's triple option off of every play. Jaden Mahava used this to great effect when he was at UNLV and used the springboard to go to USC, where he's the starting quarterback and a Heisman candidate, I think it's fair to say. So going into this season, knowing that you have Juju Lewis as your quarterback and you've added DeAndre Moore as well as Danny Scudero to the outside, I can envision a passing attack that rivals the one that Shedeur Sanders was running in 2024, where he not only had Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, but three other dudes that could go out there and get it done. Two in particular, Will Shepard and Jimmy Horn. You could tell me what you want about Draylon Miller. Fine, whatever. I'm not going to fight you about that. But they still couldn't run the football. And for those of y'all that are very fond of telling me that Savion Wilkerson rushed for 1,100 yards at Jackson State, I'm going to ask you this next question. That man got any eligibility left? Otherwise, get him out of my face. Get him out of my face. And get everybody they played out. That was a very talented football team that he had at Jackson State when he was there. They out-talented most of the SWAC. They haven't out-talented anybody at Colorado, save that quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, and that wide receiver cornerback, Travis Hunter. When Prime has had two dudes or more that are a cut above, they act like a football team that is a cut above. That's why I'm comparing Deion Sanders to the best in the Big 12, like Utah, like Texas Tech, like BYU, and not, say, Bill Belichick and North Carolina, who I don't think could hold a headset for Deion Sanders in college. Like, we've yet to see anything from that program at all. And Prime, going from that team that went from one win the year before he got there to couple more than that, and then a 9-win season, then back down to a couple more than that. We're seeing, right? It really does take an offense that can score and a defense that can stop somebody, not everybody, but somebody, for them to be good. So Brennan Marion was at the University of Texas for the 2022 season. And I'll get into those statistics here in just a second about what the run game was doing. And some of you remember that's the year that Quinn Ewers didn't play that much. Hudson Card had to come in. They lost to Bama, so forth, so on. It's an 8-5 team. It's not a great football team. But here's what Marion had to say. He said, obviously being in the Big 12 before, when I was at Texas, I know other than Texas Tech, it hasn't drastically changed as far as the players. Our O-line is better than what we had at Texas, other than we don't have number 9 pick in the 2025 NFL draft, Kelvin Banks. Offensive line-wise, we're better than we were at Texas. We're bigger. We're more physical. This will be the best offensive line that I've ever had. So let's unpack that, right? I mentioned to you that Texas was an 8-5 program in 2022. They also were not the best team in the Big 12 in 2022. They actually finished 4th in the Big 12 in 2022. That's not exactly bad, but it ain't playing for the championship either. And to say that you have a better offensive line than they had at Texas is also to say, okay, cool, but did you have a Bijan Robinson back there? Because that's the part of this that I think people are missing when they look at a quote like that or they hear what Brennan Marion had to say is, yeah, you could tell me about how that football team functioned, how Pete Kwiatkowski was still trying to figure it out, how Quinn Ewers getting hurt and Hudson Card having to come in changes how you view that conference and how you view that team. But I am going to point out to you once again that Bijan Robinson was different. 258 carries, 1,580 yards on the ground, 18 rushing TDs, 20 total TDs, 1,894 yards from scrimmage. Okay. By comparison, right? That's the best in the conference. So if you're going to tell me that the offensive line is good enough to get Bijan Robinson to 1,500 yards, I'm going to say, cool, bet. I'm also going to ask you that follow-up question that I just put to you. Where's the Bijan Robinson on this football team? That's what I want to know. And that is what I have been harping on with this team. The running back room has not produced much of anything. Not really. A couple guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield. But we're bringing in guys because we don't know that we have anybody that can rush for 1,000 yards in the FBS. My God, the number of people that want to yell about Savion Wilkerson at Jackson State. Y'all would get that man drafted. Y'all get that man another contract. You need to find out if he can get some of this 5-for-5 eligibility. Some judge in Colorado was allow him to play football. Otherwise, you need to point to somebody that can run the damn ball. I realize that Prime thinks he got a squad. I think he's also said this is the best coaching staff he's ever had. That ain't saying much. That ain't saying much. I know y'all want it to mean a lot, but that ain't saying much. He is a great football coach. He's a great recruiter when he wants to go get guys. But the guys that he has gone to get have not demonstrated to me that they can compete at the top end of this league. Now, you also got a few dudes that feel some kind of way about that. You got a few dudes that absolutely believe they have something to prove. And maybe that's what you need over there. But the leaders and dogs on this football team are going to have to show themselves early and often. That Georgia Tech game is going to reveal a lot. And you telling me that you got the best offensive line that you've had, the best offensive line you've had when you coached at UNLV, William & Mary Howard, Sacramento State, ain't telling me much as an offensive coordinator. Great. You had a great season at a group of 6 program in Vegas. Now make that translate. And oh, by the way, you're saying the Big 12 personnel ain't changed that much. Save Texas Tech. Cool. We'll see how you feel when you play Houston. We'll see how you feel when somebody got to line up across from you and make you feel the good wood. The good wood is good crack. That October crack when everybody is on it and everybody is able to separate your shoulders. Great. You got a bigger offensive line. Greatest, better offensive line than Texas in 2022. But until you got somebody that can run the damn football, what are we talking about here?